Now, this is a story about a girl who chose to obey and do the will of the Lord. And now, even though it took some wrong turns and some upside down moments, the spirit within her kept her moving her forward. Now, I don't know much about poetry, but I hope you stick around to know more about my story. Oh, yeah. God bless. Jesus is rocks. Jesus is rocks. Oh yeah, stick around to know more about my story. Oh yeah. God bless, love you, keep on smiling, stay positive. Jesus loves you, so do I. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Good morning, y'all. Hope everyone's having a fabulous day. Hey, and it's Saturday. It's gonna be overcast and raining and windy this week, or today, and I think tomorrow, and then even into next week. I think a lot of it has to do with Hurricane Ian coming through. So we'll probably get some aftermath. Not as much because we live all the way, upstream. We don't get as much flooding even when we do have a lot of rain where we live, because we live on a mountain ridge. We don't get flooding, thank the good Lord. We don't have that issue. Plus our house is just on a hill. Like, we don't get much flooding at all, which is a miracle. Well, it's not really a miracle, but you know what I mean. It's a good thing that it's we don't get flooding where we live. So, still praying for those who are down in Florida and wherever else that Hurricane Ian might go up into that state. So I'm hoping and praying that everyone is staying safe and that you recover well from all the damage. So yeah, still praying for y'all. Did I get anything? I already had breakfast. I had weird stuff for breakfast. Usually I get eggs, bacon, my oatmeal and stuff like that. I didn't want any of that this morning, so I made cinnamon rolls, which isn't like, it's not typical for us to eat cinnamon rolls for breakfast, although we've had them for breakfast. It's not something like we eat all the time as pastries, but we had cinnamon rolls in one of those canned things, and I just put them in the toaster oven. Zachary was really happy, so I had a couple of those. I had a yogurt, which I usually eat yogurt in the mornings, but I had a slice of pizza left over from last night, so I ate one of those. I know I'm weird, okay? I get it. But comment down below if you're more of a typical breakfast person, or if you don't like eating breakfast food and you prefer something else like myself, like pizza or Mexican food or whatever leftovers you had the last night. I'm like that. For the most part, I eat breakfast food, but I do occasionally like eating random leftovers for breakfast. So comment down below if I have comments section if you're more of a breakfast person, or if you are more a whatever else type person, because I know some people are not breakfast eaters, and that's okay. But guess what? It's time, our favorite time of the vlog, Bible time. So, Genesis chapter 41. So let's get started. 2 full years later, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing on the bank of the Nile River. Wow, it's been 2 full years since Joseph was still talking about release cupbearer and the chief baker. Obviously, the chief baker died, and the cupbearer told and never remembered Joseph. So it's been 2 years later, and now Pharaoh's having all these dreams, and guess who's gonna remember? Cupbearer is gonna remember. No, I was gonna say Jonah. Noah, no. Joseph, there we go. Get you guys straight here, Chelsea. Excuse me. In his dream, he saw 7 fat, healthy cows come up out of the river and began grazing in the marsh grass. When he saw the 7 more cows come up behind them from the Nile, these were scrawny and thin. These cows stood beside the fat cows on the riverbank. Then the scrawny, thin cows ate the 7 healthy, fat cows. At this point in this dream, Pharaoh woke up. Which honestly, I'd be like freaking out too. Like, what in the world? Why would 7 skinny cows be eating the fat cows? It makes absolutely no sense. But of course, Joseph already knew what was going to happen. Well, he didn't know, but he could interpret it with God's help. Obviously, God is the ultimate interpreter through even a person, because us as humans are totally clueless as to what things are till God tells us, and like, oh, that's it. Excuse me. I apologize for all the flimminess. Every time I eat in the morning, I'm always flimmy when I wake up. I'm flimmy basically all morning into the afternoon. But after I eat, every time I get flimmy. Especially if I had dairy and I had milk and a yogurt. So, double whammy there. But okay, so now this Pharaoh. But he fell asleep again and had a second dream. This time he saw 7 heads of grain, plump and beautiful, growing on a single stalk. Then 7 more heads of grain appeared, but these were shriveled and withered up, or by the east wind. Excuse me. And these thin heads swallowed up the 7 plump. Again, how can we do that? I can't. It's creepy and weird. I hate weird dreams, honestly. So these thin heads swallowed up the 7 plump, well-formed heads. Then Pharaoh woke up again and realized it was a dream. The next morning, Pharaoh was very disturbed by the dream, so he called up all the magicians and wise men of Egypt. The wise magicians. Yeah, because they're going to interpret your dreams. No, only God could do that. Let's not seek out magicians and people like this, because it's all witchcraft. It's all of the devil. Let's not seek out any of that nonsense. So, okay, when Pharaoh told them his dreams, not one of them could tell him what they meant. Obviously. Finally, the king's chief cupbearer spoke up. Today I've been reminded of my failure. Really? Duh. He told Pharaoh. Some time ago, you were angry at the chief baker and me, and you imprisoned us in the palace of the captain of the guard. One night, the chief baker and I each had a dream, and each dream had its own meaning. There was a young Hebrew man with us in the prison who was a slave of the captain of the guard. He told our dreams, and he told us what each of our dreams meant. And everything happened just as he predicted. I was restored to my position as cupbearer, and the chief baker was executed and impaled on a pole. Sad. Not sure exactly what happened prior. It doesn't tell us what the chief baker, why he was put into prison, and why exactly he was impaled by. I guess he was impaled by his actions previously. I don't know. Doesn't say exactly, which is kind of sad and vague sometimes. Sometimes in the Bible, certain circumstances happen. It's like, why did those things happen? Like, I can't be the only one that gets curious about certain things, parts of the Bible that doesn't explain everything. It's like, where's those little details that it doesn't say? I don't know. I guess no one witnessed it, so it wasn't written down in the Bible. So, and some like other people's names, like there's a lot of women in the Bible, they never mention the women's names half the time. Like there's some like Ruth, Esther, and the important women, but there's other women too that they just don't mention. They just mention the husband's name. It's like the women were back in the day were very askew. They were only for their husband's pleasure and bearing children. That was it. And just housewife and knoweth nothing else. That was all they're there for. And so I understand why a lot of women throughout the centuries have just like totally rebelled. And now I understand some things we should still, if the man's always okay, Chelsea, get your words straight here. The man is always the leader of the household. I get that. But at the same time, men and women should still be working together equally. In my opinion, it should be that way. We should be working together for the kingdom of God, not just man so much dominant over the woman. It kind of drives me crazy when that happens. So, men and women should be, working together as one, not one dominating over the other. Even though it does clearly say in the Bible that men were supposed to be the head of the household, which I totally agree with. But anyway, going rabbit trailing here. Now I gotta go back to where I was. Okay, here we go. Pharaoh sent for Joseph at once, and he was quickly brought from the prison. After he shaved, changed his clothes, and he went in and stood before Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh said to Joseph, I had a dream last night, and no one here can tell me what it means. But I have heard that when you hear about a dream, you can interpret it. It is beyond my power to do this. Obviously, Joseph did not know how to do it. He'd have to pray to God, and God would reveal it to him. So, it's all on God, not us. God is the one that gives us the giftings, not us automatically are gifted. God gives us to us. That is a privilege. We should always humble ourselves before the Lord when we're given a certain gift for Him. Excuse me again. I keep losing my spot here. Okay. It is beyond my power to do this, Joseph replied, but God can tell you what it means and set you at ease. So Pharaoh told Joseph his dream. In my dream, he said, I was standing on the bank of the Nile River, and I saw 7 fat, healthy cows came up the river and began grazing in the marsh grass. But when I saw 7 sick-looking cows, scrawny and thin, came up after them. I have never seen such sorry-looking animals in all the land of Egypt. These thin, scrawny cows ate the 7 fat cows. But afterward, you couldn't have known it, for they were still as thin and scrawny as before. Then I woke up. Then I fell asleep again and had another dream. This time I saw 7 heads of grain, full and beautiful, growing on a single stalk. Then 7 more heads of grain appeared, but these were blighted, shriveled, and withered by the east wind. Then the shriveled heads swallowed the 7 healthy heads. I told these dreams to the magicians, but no one could tell me what they mean. And this is a sidebar called preparation. Our most important opportunities may come when we least prepare for them. Joseph was brought hastily from the dungeon and pushed before Pharaoh. Did he have the time to prepare? Yes or no? Or say yes and no. He had no warning that he suddenly would be pulled from prison and questioned by the king. Yet Joseph was ready for almost anything because he had kept cool with God. Are you and God tight? If not, do you need to make things right? Keep close to God. God can help you be prepared for anything that comes your way. Amen to amen. Joseph responded, both of Pharaoh's dreams mean the same thing. God is telling Pharaoh in advance what he is about to do. The 7 healthy cows and the 7 healthy herds of grain both represent 7 years of prosperity. The 7 thin, scrawny cows that came up, excuse me, oh my gosh, and the 7 thin heads of grain withered by the east wind represent 7 years of famine. This will happen just as I described it, for God has revealed to Pharaoh in advance what he is about to do. The next 7 years will be a period of great prosperity throughout the land of Egypt. But afterward, there will be 7 years of famine so great that all the prosperity will be forgotten in Egypt. Famine will destroy the land. This famine will be severe that even the memory of the good years will be erased. Ooh, that's going to be scary, won't it? Why do I keep forgetting? Okay. As for having two similar dreams, it means that these events have been decreed by God, and he will soon make them happen. Therefore, Pharaoh should find an intelligent and wise man and put him in charge of the entire land of Egypt. Was saying this, I don't know if Joseph knew exactly he was going to be put in charge, but Pharaoh trusted him, so he's going to put him in charge. Then Pharaoh should appoint supervisors over the land and let them collect 1/5 of all the crops during the 7 good years. Have them gather all the food produced in the good years that are just ahead and bring it to Pharaoh's storehouses. Store it away and guard it so there will be food in the cities. That way there will be enough to eat when the 7 years of famine come to the land of Egypt. Otherwise, the famine will destroy the land. Joseph made ruler of Egypt. Joseph's suggestions were received by Pharaoh and his officials. So Pharaoh asked his officials, "Can we find anyone like this man so obviously filled with the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has revealed the meaning of the dreams to you, clearly no one else is as intelligent and wise as you. You will be in charge of my court, and all my people will take orders from you. Only I, sitting on the throne, will have a rank higher than yours." Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I hereby put you in charge of the entire land of Egypt." Then Pharaoh removed his signet ring from his hand and placed it on Joseph's finger. He dressed him in fine linen clothing and hung a gold chain around his neck. Then he had Joseph ride in the chariot reserved for his second in command. Excuse me again. And whenever Joseph went, the command was shouted, "Kneel down!" So Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of all of Egypt. And when Pharaoh said to him, "I am Pharaoh, but no one will lift a hand or foot in the entire land of Egypt without your approval." And Pharaoh gave Joseph a new Egyptian name, Zephanath Paneah. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. He also gave him a wife whose name was Asareth, something like that. She was the daughter of Potiphar, the priest of On. So Joseph took charge of the entire land of Egypt. He was 30 years old when he began serving the court of Pharaoh. That's exactly my age. Crazy. I would not want to be in charge of a big, prosperous land like that. That would be a huge responsibility. The king of Egypt. And when Joseph left Pharaoh's presence, he inspected the entire land of Egypt. As predicted, for 7 years the land produced bumper crops. During those years, Joseph gathered all the crops grown in Egypt and stored the grain from the surrounding fields in the cities. He piled up huge amounts of grain like sand on the seashore. Finally, he stopped keeping records because there was too much to be measured. Yeah, after a while, it would be a lot to do. During this time, before the first of the famine years, 2 sons were born to Joseph and his wife, Asareth, the daughter of Potiphar, the priest of On. Joseph named his older son Manasseh, or something like that. For he said, "God has made me forget all my troubles and everyone in my father's family." Joseph named his second son Ephraim, for he said, "God has made me fruitful in this land of my grief." At last, the 7 years of bumper crops throughout the land of Egypt came to an end. Then the 7 years of the famine began, just as Joseph had predicted. The famine also struck all the surrounding countries, but throughout Egypt there was plenty of food. Eventually, however, the famine spread throughout the land of Egypt as well. And when the people cried out to Pharaoh for food, he told them, "Go to Joseph and do whatever he tells you." So with severe famine everywhere, Joseph opened up the storehouses and distributed grain to the Egyptians, for the famine was severe throughout the land of Egypt. People from all over came to Egypt to buy grain from Joseph because the famine was severe throughout the world. So that is chapter 41. We'll get into chapter 42 next time. These chapters are kind of long. Oh, by the way, I am also teaching Joseph in my kids' church lesson. So hopefully tomorrow turns out well and that the kids cooperate this time around. Oh my gosh, last week was it was something else, to tell you what. So hopefully they sit down quietly and listen, and so we can get everything done. Because I don't want to put them in timeout again or not give them prizes. That's not my objective. I don't like doing that. So it's not my nature to be mean, but you know, I have to lay down the role, otherwise they'll take over. All right, randomly selecting from chicken soup. This one's about family matters. It's called A Most Precious Gift. Oof. First word, divorce. Ugh. The word alone sends chills down some people's backs, but not mine. It may sound unusual, but my parents' divorce was, in a way, the best thing that ever happened to our family. You see, I can hardly recollect what it was like for my parents to be married. It all seems like a very distant memory, like a story from another lifetime. It was New Year's Eve, right after my 6th birthday, when my father moved out. All I remember was being in my family room and receiving a goodbye hug from him. My brother, who was 4, consoled my mom and me. My dad left us all crying miserably. I thought I was never going to see my beloved daddy again. So the following Monday night, there he was, and our weekly dinner ritual was born. He came to pick up my brother and me for dinner every Monday and Thursday night. And every other weekend, he would take us to his new apartment where we would spend the night. For some reason, I learned to love my new life. I knew that every week I couldn't make other plans on our dinner nights, and it was our precious time to spend with our dad. I learned how to pack a bag for the weekend trips to the apartment, trying hard not to miss a thing. Over the years, our dinner ritual had to work around dance, basketball, tennis, art classes, and golf leagues, but it always came first. 3 years after my parents got divorced, when I was 9, my mother got remarried to Marty. He's wonderful, and he has been making me giggle ever since with his brilliant sense of humor. Adding another man to his children's lives may have angered some fathers, but not mine. My dad took our new stepfather out and befriended him. That's good. With our new stepfather came an older stepbrother and an enormous extended family. 3 years later, my dad finally found the love of his life, and my brother and I were blessed with a not at all wicked stepmother, Susie. Susie's son and daughter quickly became part of the family as well. Now that my mom and Marty have been married for over 9 years and my dad and Susie for 6, it has become impossible for me to even imagine my parents married to each other. Over the years, when people have been introduced to all my parents and observed their relationships... Oh, sorry about that. Someone is texting me. Okay, it was just mom. Anyway, sorry for that. Over the years, when people have been introduced to all my parents and observed their relationships with each other, they tell me that my family is a prime example of how life should be after a divorce. When I meet new people and found out that my parents are divorced, they always recognize or apologize and sympathize. But to me, my parents' divorce is not something to be sorry about. To me, my parents' divorce is not something to be sorry about. A divorce in itself is sad and ending, but the outcome in our case has been great for all of us. For our birthdays, we all go out for dinner, the 6 of us. My parents remain friends, and my mom and Susie have even golfed together. I couldn't change anything about my life, or wouldn't change. I have 8 grandparents, 4 parents, 4 siblings, too many aunts and uncles to count, and an endless amount of cousins. Love and support surround me no matter what or whose house I happen to be at. With the help of my family, I have learned to cope during the hard times, but above all, I have learned that love is immeasurable and, when shared, the most precious gift of all. So that is something to be grateful for. Even though there was divorce, there was still, between her parents, she gained a lot more. She gained some step siblings, step parents, more aunts and uncles and cousins. So that is great, and everyone gets along. I do have divorced parents myself. My parents are good as far as talking with one another. Even my mom's second husband, because my mom's on her third marriage. Nothing against her. She's already admitted this, and it's not a secret or anything, so I can't share this. Yeah, her first two marriages were horrible, but she's gained respect towards her exes, and we're all good. I will say I don't talk much with my biological father, just because that was his decision. He's not really in his right mind, frame of mind. I don't know, he just doesn't choose to communicate with his, oh my gosh, mother. I'll be back. Okay, sorry about that. My mom was trying to give me the schedule for next week, so I apologize for that. But anyway, I was finally just like, you know what, instead of interrupting, let's just respond to what she had to say. Plus, I had to restart the thing anyway, because after 30 minutes of recording, it stopped. So I was getting close to 30 minutes. But anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, my parents' divorce. Yeah, even though I don't have hatred towards my old man or anything. My mom has always taught me not to feel hatred towards him, and I haven't. I'm disappointed with a lot of things. Oh my gosh, Ma. Excuse me, I apologize again. Okay, oh my goodness. Anyway, I'll read that later, but anyway, she's just talking more and more. I'm like, mother, calm down. But anyway. Yeah, I don't have any hatred or anything towards my old man. I still love him. I still pray for him because he has a soul. I gotta think of the things like, despite all like the disappointments, trying to reach out to him. Like, I've reached out to him a handful of times. I've written notes and stuff like that. He just doesn't have it in him to spend time with any of his children, which is sad. Don't get me wrong. I don't agree with it. But he doesn't know how to be a father or husband, for that matter. Poor man's gone through so many women, so many marriages or just living with women, and I'm just like, poor guy. He has a soul. He needs Jesus. And I'm praying every day, like, he sincerely finds Jesus and repents of everything that I'm sure he feels guilty. I'm sure he does, of all the crap that he's done to people. He's burned a lot of bridges, but I'm hoping and praying that he finds Jesus sincerely and actually just forgives everything. Ask God to forgive him, which he will. God always forgives us no matter what we have done in this lifetime. It can be the worst thing on earth. It can be the smallest thing on earth. Either way, a sin is a sin, no matter what type of sin it is. And God can forgive any of us for anything. And so I'm hoping and praying that he finds the Lord and truly starts living a godly lifestyle. That's my goal, because I don't want to see him end up in hell someday. Like, the actual place. I do not want him to go to hell. I want him to see him in heaven with me someday. I would absolutely love that. Even though we're estranged. Is that the word, estranged? I think that's how you say it, but I'm not sure. Where our relationship is just so far apart, but we're not on talking terms or anything. It's not like we couldn't reach out to each other. We could. We just don't make the effort, and you know, I've tried so many times and it just doesn't work. So I still pray for him. I still love him despite the issues. Our parents get along. I get along. Like, we all get along. We can get along and talk and just laugh, if we ever encountered one another, but the relationship itself just doesn't work. So yeah. So no matter, even through all my divorce well, I can't say my divorce. I'm not even married. I've never been married. But like my parents' divorce or my grandparents, like we all get along. We all get along. It's all covered by blood. I would say not all of us live a Christian life, but we get along with one another despite our differences and despite how we live. Like we all get along. Like that, just like that story in the book about her family, we all get along. I mean, we're not close as like they were, but however, if we do get together, we actually have a good laugh. Our families get along. It's all good. So I am grateful for I love all my family members and love having a big family, even though we're not as close, but nonetheless, it's good. I mean, the divorce itself is terrible. That's why we sincerely think about who and pray for our future spouse instead of just jumping into a relationship. I don't agree with that. That's why I've always, because of my parents' divorce and all my grandparents and whoever, my family, I've learned from their mistakes. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do what they have done. I am going to sincerely pray for my future spouse. I'm not going to give in just because I think a guy is cute. He's got some good qualities. He has to be a man on fire for God. He can't be wishy-washy about his relationship with the Lord. He's got to have certain standards, and I live by those standards. I'm not going to just, oh, he's so cute. Oh my gosh. No. I've had so many crushes through my life. I'm not going to lie. I've liked quite a bit of guys throughout my life, but none of them, and I mean none of them, have compared to what I've imagined who I want my future husband to be. So he's got to have all the qualities, and if it doesn't match up, then he ain't it. So have I come encountered with him yet? Not exactly. I'm being a little hesitant about that because I might have came across my future husband, but I'm not going to say I have because I'm not quite sure about it. So stay tuned for that. Continue to pray for me. I know a lot of my grandparents and family members have been praying for me for that type of situation for my future spouse. I have an idea, but I'm not quite sure if it's, like, I have some confirmation, but at the same time I'm not sure exactly yet. So continue to pray for me. That's all I'm asking from you guys. So what am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do next. You know, I actually need to clean the bathroom, so I probably should go do that, even though I'm not looking forward to that. But it's only gonna take like 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go do that. And then I might just work on my dollhouse because that's been being put off so much and I need to deal with that. So, yeah. I'm going to go do that and I'll see you guys later. Ooh, and just like that is the evening. I'm also editing, so while we're waiting on this to export, or is that the right word? Yes, export. Anyway, put it all together. I just figured something out on my tripod here. That's why I have it off. I didn't realize what this thing was for a long time. This moves the screw. So instead of, which I usually just, you know, do this when I'm putting in, all you have to do, y'all, is push this. Mind-boggling. You know, you learn things each and every day instead of making a big deal about turning this thing all the way around. I can just twist this little thingamabob in my camera and voila. Go figure. Anyway, I got a lot of stuff done, y'all. I got some stuff done on my house, on the dollhouse. Oh my gosh, I am feeling so good about it. I painted, I glued. I think I've got all the trim up. I think maybe like 1 or 2 pieces left, but I got all that up. Oh my gosh, it was such a heartache, but I got all that up. I painted stuff. I'm working on the balcony. And I will show you guys eventually the that project's gonna take forever. I feel like it's never gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna get it done by the end of the year. It would be a miracle if I do. But even if it does continue to next year, it's fine. I'll get it done when I get it done. But you guys will eventually see it. Just right now, it's not done. So, and I also finished another project. I don't know why I still have this in my ear. There's nothing going on. I have another project that I'm going to be putting together, so you guys will see that soon as well. I've been taking some pictures and trying different things with it, and you guys will see that eventually. So yeah, I got a lot done. I've pretty much got everything done on my list. A few things I have to do tomorrow, which can't be done right now. I have one little thing that I've got to take care of. And yes, I will do it. I will follow through with it. It's just gonna take me forever I just feel like I am trying to find the right time, and there really isn't a real time to do it. Just do it. You know, just do it. So, I'm gonna deal with that. I didn't really eat much today, I'm not gonna lie. For lunch, my lunch was the heaviest meal I've eaten. Like this morning, I had 2 cinnamon rolls. I think I've already said this. Oh crud, I spilled that thing again. This is like the second time I spilled my water out of my tumbler. I don't usually do that. Oh my gosh. Good thing I don't have anything ruined. It's ruining this. Oh my goodness. Except for Nutsy, he's getting watered. He's got water all over him. Poor thing. My poor little squirrel here, friend. You know, I could honestly have you out since it's fall time. You look so cute next to my pumpkin. Yes, I'll put you out. And sorry I got you wet, but nonetheless, maybe I'm glad I got you wet because I saw that you were in here. It's like, oh. Anyway, whatever else is wet will dry. Anyway, I'm in this sidetracked here. Oh, yes, I had 2 cinnamon rolls, a yogurt, and a slice of leftover pizza this morning. That was my breakfast. Lunch was my heaviest. I had a hoagie sandwich, okay, which was actually hoagie bread, and it had turkey, cheese, mayo, lettuce, and tomato. So that was good. I had some carrot sticks, quite a bit of those actually, and then olives. That was my lunch. Dinner, I don't really want to call it dinner because it really wasn't. I wasn't really hungry, so I had a handful. I had like 4 cookies. I had these. I know. They're not really good for you, but they are. They're like free of, like, they're wheat free. Literally, they're wheat. There's no eggs, no wheat, no soy. Peanuts, no tree nuts, no fish, shellfish, dairy, sesame in it. If you're allergic to all that, it doesn't have it. So it's gluten-free and vegan. They're really good, but they're not really good for you. They're not too fattening, but they're still fattening because it's got like 4 different starches in it, like cornstarch. It's got rice, brown rice in it. It's got potato and tapioca. Like, that's a lot of starch. So even though they're good, they're not really good for you. So I had that, an apple, and a granola bar. So yeah, I didn't really eat dinner. I just kind of nibbled. I wasn't really hungry. I'm having one of those times, like last Sunday I was like this too, where I barely ate anything, and today I was like that. I'm like, okay, but I'm not going to force myself to eat if I'm not really hungry. So probably in the middle of the night I'll probably feel hungry, but whatever. Just say no to myself. Discipline myself a little bit better. So yeah, I just gotta do that one task, and then I'll pretty much get everything done besides the things I have to do tomorrow. So my schedule's kind of wacky doodle as per usual. Monday is my not work day, so I'll probably vlog somewhat on Monday. Not completely because we have a viewing that evening. the evening. So sadly, one of my pappy's sister had passed away, so, which I don't particularly like going to viewings or funerals because of the whole dead body syndrome. I don't like going to it. It's just sad, so I'm gonna be there for it to support my grandfather and whoever else. But overall, I'm not like a huge fan of going to see dead people. It just it kind of freaks me out. I'm sure other people feel that way too. It's like gives you that cringe factor. But I'm gonna be there just to support the family. I didn't really know her that much, to be quite honest. I'm not I don't know, I'm not heavily involved in a lot of my family members, like distant family members. So I didn't really know her that well, so I feel bad for the family themselves, but I'm not like grieving myself because I'm not related to them. It's my stepdad's side, so I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel bad for the people that are grieving, but I don't know how to feel myself personally. So, just praying for them to feel a sense of peace over everything. So, family. So yeah, I'll be filming a little bit Monday because I'll be going out that day and I'm getting my toes done. Hey. So I'm gonna film a little bit there, here and there of that Monday. Wednesday, I'm working Tuesday, so I won't film then. Wednesday is technically a work day, but it's only Zeusie's house, and Mom's gonna bring me back home, so I will film that day. So I have a day to film that day, and then I won't film Thursday, obviously that's a work day, and then Friday and Saturday I'll film. So we'll have 4 days next week to film, so stay tuned. And I will be filming more videos, guys. I just haven't put forth the effort, so I will be doing that, don't you worry. More videos will be coming soon. I have ideas, I just gotta put forth the effort. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. As always, keep on smiling. Stay positive. I love you guys. Jesus loves you too. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.